Yes, fantastic, great news. Power and technology has worked all the way from Chile. You can see on your screen right now. Now, have I actually pronounced your name correctly? If I go for Felipe Valdivia, how am I doing?
Yeah, that's great. That's very accurate. Thank you.
Go me. That's not bad. People get my name wrong, and I think mine's easy. So, Felipe is 27, as you can see on your screen. And on MTGO, on Magic Online, many of you will have had the chance to play against him as what initially, Felipe, I thought was Yi Yi, or maybe even Yai Yai, but no, it's GG, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Correct. It's pronounced Yi.
Okay, so Gi, and presumably it is for good game, thanks for playing.
Yeah, it's a way of writing it down in Spanish.
Okay, cool. Favorite set, Legacy Cube and Tempest. Those seem like very different things. You're 27 now. By my reckoning, that means that when Tempest was around, you were probably about 9 or 10. So what made Tempest one of your favorite sets?
The reason why I chose Tempest was because I was very in depth with the flavor and the lore of Magic
Right.
back when I started playing, and I was very attracted to the main characters. So that was something that pulled me into the game, and Tempest has such a rich story in terms of the arc that it tells you, that it conveys, and
Hmm.
I appreciated that back in the day when blogs had more in-depth history.
Absolutely. I mean, because I'm pretty sure when you got the starter decks for Tempest, you got a complete storybook inside the starter deck of all the story of Gerard and the Weatherlight and all that good stuff going on. So, yeah, it was a massive, flavorful time. Um,
Yeah,
inci-
exactly. I was
Incidentally,
more
s-
sorry. I was more of a villain kind of guy. I really liked the controversy between Volrath and Grieve and Ilvek, so I was into that.
mhm. So, just as a little announcement on the show, just to fill your cards in, while we talk to Felipe, we're going to get the Downtime 3 ready to come on the show. Those are the three people who last week went out for us to play Magic over the weekend. We've got Sealed, we've got Standard, we've got tons of great stuff, the SCG Open and Invitational. Lots of that coming right up. So Simon, if you can sort out the Downtime 3 for us, so that once we're done here with Felipe, and then we're going to play another game show round, and then it'll be time to have the Downtime 3 on. But Felipe, back to you. Um, the next line on your little biography on the screen here, this is the exciting bit as far as I'm concerned. Magic Online PTQ winner for Pro Tour Dragons of Tarkir. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It was awesome to win it, and it's awesome to be a part of the Pro Tour.
So let me get this right. It says there on your bio, four Proto Qualifier top eights. Now those are in the real world, if you like. Yes, they're out with pen and paper.
Yeah, yeah. All of them were pen and paper. There were two of them standard, one sealed, and one modern.
Okay. If you are in the United States or here in the United Kingdom, there are plenty of opportunities to go to what would have been old style PTQs or certainly PPTQs. I've been to Chile to the Grand Prix last year. What are the opportunities like for the community to go to PTQs? Like how many PTQs are you getting in a year, for example?
Under the old system, we had one PDQ per Pro Tour, and it was around between 120 players and 150 players. And I know that's not a lot, but the thing is that every single player in that tournament was very, very competitive, and you only had that one chance.
Right. Yeah. See, that's interesting because I would have said that would have been broadly the same sort of size in my early part of the game, and certainly what I and my friends would do, we'd get to the PTQ, we'd look at the start list, and we would very ruthlessly sort of go, okay, they're good, they're good, they're good. Yeah, no, 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 no. Yes, they're very. Oh, they're definitely going to make the top eight. And you'd end up with, I don't know, 15 or 20 names that you thought might be in the mix for the top eight. How does it work? What's the sort of depth like in terms of the Chilean community?
Um, the Chilean community is very competitive. just because if you're into Magic, you have very little tournaments to be a part of, so you try to maximize the experience and prepare as much as you can.
Hmm.
So it ended up being a very competitive instance where you had like you could easily have 30 names that you knew that could win the tournament by playing without a single flaw and making no mistakes during the whole tournament.
Hmm.
So and there are a lot of very experienced players that don't have a name for themselves just because they're local based and they don't have either the money or the time to travel to GPs abroad.
Okay. Now, in terms of the style of play within the community, obviously I get to travel a lot around the world, and different places have a very different vibe to them as a community. Like you'll find some corners of the world that are just huge about legacy. You even think of a huge place like Spain. Legacy is a massive deal there. And then there are other places where constructed almost no one has a constructed deck. Maybe they have a commander deck or something like that, but everyone's like, when can I draft? When can I draft? So what's the flavour of Magic in Chile?
Um, Chilean Magic is mostly standard. There's a very big legacy community as well, but for the most part, the competitive outlet is standard mostly. In fact, most Chilean players, when they play limited at the Pro Tour or at GPs, don't do as well as our Brazilian counterparts. But when it comes to standard, you can expect a very decent amount of success. You can take, for example, Luis Navas playing last year at the GP. He won with a brew that was very competitive and that no one expected. The previous Rookie of the Year as well. He made a lot of waves playing standard mostly. And we have other players that have been very competitive when it comes to standard. Last year's GP, the second place was a Chilean player,
Hmm.
also being very successful at standard. And if you see the Pro Tour performance, you can see that standard is always very good. It's always positive, but we end up not having the same level of competition when it comes to draft.
Sure. Okay, so let's get to the day that you make it to the big show. Tell us your memories of particularly the top eight of your Magic Online PTQ to get you to Brussels next week for Dragons of Tarkir.
Well, the whole experience was like, in short, that week it took me 5 PTQs to qualify to the PTQ. Like now,
Right.
after the downtime, you have three PTQs per day, and I lost the first 4 of them. Like I made a 3-2 or a 3-2 or 2-3,
Hmm.
and I was getting very very frustrated. Fortunately, I persevered. I kept getting at it, and after I started the Swiss, I was playing limited, and I got a pool that was very very weak. And I remembered the lessons of the great Ben Stark, who says that if you have a weak pool, you have to aim at full power, like full
Right.
and skip on the consistency.
Yeah, all
And
of
I
the
got
best
very
cards no
lucky.
matter what.
Exactly, and I played like 1 plains, 1 swamp, and one of that 2-drop that searches for a basic and puts it on top.
Hmm.
And I swear that I had like 4 instances where my only out was drawing that singleton basic land for my splash, and I drew it. So I was very lucky. I only lost 1 round. To an opponent that had an amazing deck. The win and in, I won it by using pyrotechnics on my Destructor Dragon to kill a Palace Siege while I was at 1 life.
Wow.
So it was an epic win and in. Then the draft, I was set on that. I knew that white was the best color. I opened the Dagathar,
Hmm.
the can leader from Fate Reforged.
Yep, Dagatar the
And
Adamant. Yep.
yeah, exactly. And I never looked back. And I ended up getting past a lot of white awesome creatures and black removal. And the final was against the opponent that beat me on the Swiss. So it was an awesome a chance to take it back. And he was under blue-red aggro deck, the one that has all the 2-drops. I've never played against that deck before, but it's supposed to be like this very overplayed draft strategy that I wasn't aware of. I lost game one because I didn't block once, and then he didn't allow me to block for the rest of the game
Right.
with tempo plays, and then I took it back by sideboarding in all my 2 drops, and I was very lucky to draw Dagathar both game 2 and 3, and when I won, I couldn't believe it. And the first thing that happened was really funny. The person from the organized play from Magic Online that contacted me told me, "Congratulations on your qualification to Pro Tour Brussels." And I was like, "What, Brussels? Are you sure? This is not for Vancouver?"
Right.
And yeah, I thought I was playing for a Pro Tour Origins at first,
Sure.
and I had to I had to make huge arrangements to go to Brussels, but I'm happy to be there.
But we're going to get you there now. Your full-time job, because you don't play Magic the whole time, do you? You're in the legal world, is that right?
Yeah, I'm a lawyer.
Hmm.
I work for public infrastructure
Okay.
legal advice,
So
and yeah.
yeah, so how is that then? Because, obviously the best pros are getting in their testing groups for 2 weeks ahead of time, and you're busy going into work. I know you've had to rearrange things just to be on the show, and we really appreciate it. So what do you, how do you test, and what are your expectations, given that you do have a full-time job as well?
It's really hard because you have to do a lot of theoretical work, expecting like comparing deck lists without being able to test them properly. But at the same time, I have a huge support from both the Chilean community that's been able to help me test decks, and they test for me even. And I also been in contact with Brazilian and Spanish players that have been able to share deck lists with me. And this week I've been able to draft every single day, but it's hard because um, I'm not the only one that has work and has other things to attend. So getting 7 other players that have the same capacity to test and give positive input is hard. And I think that in a sense I'm weaker at that in that part, but at the same time I take Magic so seriously that whenever I have free time to spend on Magic, I try to take the most out of it.
Sure.
So, and I'm not taking this opportunity for granted. Like I'm giving my best. So I have high expectations. I don't know if aiming to get a qualification to the next Pro Tour or start chaining it is too greedy.
Hmm.
But I've been known for being a greedy player and always making the greedy play. So I expect to qualify for the next Pro Tour.
Well, we wish you the very best of luck when you join us in Brussels for Pro Tour Dragons of Tarkir. And Felipe is someone who they see, 4 Pro Tour PTQ top 8s, qualified via Magic Online. It isn't all about the Platinum Pros and the Gold Pros and the former Pro Tour champions and the Hall of Famers. There are hundreds of stories just like Felipe's around the world, and certainly Felipe, the Downtime team, will be very much rooting for you in Brussels next week. We wish you the very best of luck, as I say. Thanks for being on the show, telling us a bit about Chilean Magic. We'll have you on again, I'm sure, in the future. And if you would like to be part of Downtime, if you've got a story to tell of your community around the world, this is a global show. It isn't just about the UK and America and Japan and the big powerhouses of the game. It is for everyone. And we are very thankful for Felipe Valdivia, Yee GG on Magic Online. Felipe, thanks so much, and we will see you in Brussels. Take care.
Thank you, Rich. Thank you, everyone, and thank you for having me. Goodbye.
You're very